Welcome to Behind the Crime, where the darkest mysteries come to light. In today's episode, we will discuss about the hit Netflix series Squid Game. Could this disturbing show actually be inspired by a real-life tragedy? Buckle up, because this theory will shock you. The premise of Squid Game is chilling. Contestants, all deep in debt, fight for their lives in a twisted game of children's challenges. But what if I told you that the inspiration for this show isn't just fiction? A vital claim has been circulating online, suggesting that Squid Game is based on a true event, an incident in 1986 in South Korea. In the 1980s, South Korea was on fire, not literally, but the country was booming. It was gearing up to host the 1988 Olympics, proving to the world how far it had come. But while the spotlight shone on the shiny new Seoul, there was a much darker story unfolding in the shadows, a place called Brothers' Home. It sounds like the plot of dystopian TV series, right? Well, this was no fiction. For thousands of people, it was their real-life nightmare. A place so horrifying that some have even compared it to Squid Game. Brothers' Home was supposed to be a shelter. Officially, it was a welfare center in Busan. Its mission: to give the homeless, disabled, and struggling members of a society a safe place to stay. But the reality was far from safe. Over 38,000 people were detained here between the 1970s and 1988, and most of them were not there by choice. Imagine walking home one day and being snatched off the street. That's what happened to people, kids, adults, and even seniors. They didn't just target the homeless. Some were detained just for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. So, why did this happen? The government was obsessed with making South Korea look perfect for 1988 Olympics. They didn't want visitors to see anything messy. No beggars. No homeless people. No street kids. Under President Chun Doo-hwan's social purification policy, police swept through cities, grabbing anyone they thought did not fit their image of modern society. Out of sight, out of mind. That was the plan. Once you were inside Brothers' Home, life became a living hell. Survivors describe overcrowded rooms so packed you couldn't lie down properly to sleep. The food was scarce, the air stank, and the guards, they were brutal. People were forced to work long hours during back-breaking labor, building roads, farming, or assembling goods. And get this, they were not paid a single penny. But the physical abuse was even worse. Beatings were daily. Punishments for trying to escape unimaginable. Some survivors have also spoken about SA. Many detainees did not survive at all. Hundreds, maybe even thousands, died from beating, starvation, or untreated illnesses. One survivor, Han Jong-sun, was just 8 years old when he and his sister were taken. "We were running an errand for our dad," he said. "Suddenly, a police officer grabbed us. We begged to go home, but they didn't listen. They hit us and threw us into a van." For years, Han lived in constant fear, wondering if he would ever see his family again. The trauma of those years still haunts him to this day. These are the pictures painted by the survivors of Brothers' Home. They prove how horrific and dehumanizing life inside was. It's impossible to ignore the parallels between Squid Game and the reality of Brothers' Home. In Squid Game, contestants were forced to play twisted games, risking their lives for survival. At Brothers' Home, survival wasn't a game. It was a daily fight. Some survivors even claimed that detainees were pitted against each other for basic necessities like food and blankets. While these stories remain unverified, they still paint a horrifying picture of just how humanity can reach its lowest. The truth about Brothers' Home only came to light in 1987 thanks to prosecutor named Kim Yong-won. He heard whispers about abuse and decided to investigate. What he uncovered was shocking. Illegal detention, forced labors, and a systematic abuse on unimaginable scale. The public was outraged, and in 1988, the brothers' home was finally shut down. But for many, the damage was already done. The man behind Brothers Home, Bai King-kyeon, made a fortune of others' misery. He pocketed government funds and profited from detainee labor. When the facility was shut down, Park was arrested, but his punishment? Just 2.5 years in prison. That's it. After serving his sentence, he vanished from a public eye and lived a quiet life until his death in 2016. For many, this felt like a slap in the face, a symbol of how a powerful often escape true justice. Decades later, the survivors of Brothers Home are still waiting for justice. Many feel the government hasn't taken full responsibility for what happened. They want the world to remember their pain, not to bury it. Stories like this remind us of how dangerous unchecked power can be and how easily the most vulnerable among us can be forgotten. The victims of Brothers Home deserve to be heard. The director of Squid Game, Bong Dong-hyuk, has explicitly stated his inspiration came from personal financial struggles, as well as from Japanese dystopian stories like Battle Royale. There is no solid proof that Squid Game is based on Brothers Home or any real-life incident. The show's creator has never confirmed this link, and the rumors appears to have spread through social media without evidence. However, the haunting real stories of Brothers Home still raise questions about the nature of human suffering, and Squid Game does tap into that darkness, making it all the more chilling. Thank you for joining us, and don't forget to subscribe for more disturbing true crime stories.